I'm doing the intro this time.
Welcome to Shazam Cast.
Come on, Logan! Let's go fight aliens!
Oh, burn, Leo, burn.
X-Men featuring Scott Pilgrim.
That's such a double die.
It's a fucking X-Men movie.
And you got a butt
No,
Shazam Cast.
The cauliflower. I wanted to be a cauliflower, all brain and ears, thinking on the origin of gardens and divinity of him, who carefully binds my leaf. With my blind roots touched by the song of the worms, and my rough throat throbbing with strange vegetable sounds. Perhaps I'd feel the parting stroke of a butterfly's wing. Not like my cousin, the cabbages, whose heads, tightly folded, see and hear nothing of this world, dreaming only on the yellow and green magnificence that is hardening within them. So that was just like
What the hell? That, ladies
was
and
a-
gentlemen, was today's edition of God Awful Fanfic. It's a fan of cabbages.
So this is an export of my comprehension test from the state test that is given to me by the state to make sure that I'm learning. Someone had to look at that and think, oh, kids can learn from this, and put it in a test. What's better is they ask like questions about the paragraph, and they say, what is it?
What do you think the author was trying to convey with this
No, literally, the cabbages represent the quality of being blank.
Wow. That's amazing. That's just,
Yeah,
that's really something.
the American education system. Literally the American education system.
It really is something.
Not-
So, that
let's
draws
actually
What?
let's actually talk about the fucking movie.
Yeah, that draws actually a great parallel. The American education system has a lot to do with the way schools are run, and
God.
a movie that has a lot to do with schools is 1996 movie on-air TV show pilot Generation X, starring a bunch of people.
The segue's over.
Yeah, that's it, we're done. Alright, so this week me and Dan had the pleasure of watching Generation X, which is a movie starring a bunch of young actors trying to portray X-Men, and there's...
Hold on, let me get these. I'll get some of the random people.
Yeah,
This
there's
movie stars Matt Freer, Finola Hughes,
These are great names.
Jeremy Ratchford,
Beautiful.
and Heather McComb.
Oh, and female David Bowie.
Is she Jubilee?
Emma Frost looks like female David Bowie.
Dude, kind of. Vaguely.
There was one moment in particular where she comes to bust them out of jail and she looks like female David Bowie, and I was like, what the hell?
I don't know,
What?
I was not paying that much attention to be like, oh yeah.
Alright, so let's try to recap the plot. It's actually not that simple. The plot is, well, what there is resembling a plot in this movie.
Of young mutants,
There's
humans,
6 of them. Yeah.
with genetic variation that give them superpowers and make them feared by the population at large, begin training at a school for heroes. Their
Does it sound
studies
familiar?
are interrupted when they must rescue one of their numbers from a mad scientist
Wait
who
a
can
minute.
enter other people's dreams.
Wait a minute. Okay, up until the part where you said enter other people's dreams, does this story sound at all familiar? Let's see. Mutants, a school.
Dude, Generation X is like part of the X-Men universe.
No,
They
but
call it.
listen. One of the students gets kidnapped. They all have to go to save the student that got kidnapped because they didn't know what they were doing, and they were messing around with the wrong people. There's a guy who wants... yeah, you know what, the parallel's over. It's a little bit like X-Men from 2001.
Except
Forget it.
instead of Ian McKellen, they have child molester Pee Wee Herman.
my god, it was so dumb. Okay, we'll get into that. We'll
Yeah.
get into that guy. All right, so yeah, they have to. The story opens with whatever. It opens with there's a school with 6 mutants,
No,
only
no.
6, mind you, run by Sean Cassidy, Banshee, and Emma Frost. And there's no Xavier, but the school is called Xavier's, but whatever.
They were gonna go into it in further episodes.
Right. So, yeah, they are at the school, and they have Jubilee. They've got
Vanilla
The-
Ice.
Vanilla Ice. They've got Stretchy. They've got what's her name? Elastigirl from The Incredibles, but she's a teenage boy. They've got a girl who is basically just like the peak of human perfection, but she doesn't have any actual superpowers.
Or character. Or
That's right.
personality.
And
Oh, fucking the black guy again.
that's right, the black guy, and
yeah.
and
You already mentioned Vanilla Ice.
Buff Girl.
Oh,
They've got
yeah.
Buff Girl.
Harley, whatever her name. I think that's her name.
Yeah, Harley Davidson. So, all of the 6 of those are in a school, and the plot revolves basically around a guy named Russell inventing a dream machine so
Oh
he
my
can
God, this is-
go into the dream dimension, which is a separate dimension, so that he can plant subliminal thoughts into people's brains so that he can take over the world, basically.
No,
And
he's trying to do the viral marketing or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. He sneaks messages into people's dreams so that they'll buy things. He's an advertising manager.
Except then he goes insane and threatens to molest children.
Well, sort of, yeah. He tries to. So he kidnaps Elastigirl, teenage boy, during the middle of his stupid, irrelevant love plot.
Oh god.
The-
Yeah,
the-
remember it was there just like a moment to just have him do
Yeah.
the whole dream sequence where they make out and shitty jazz music plays in the
oh
background.
my god, it was just him dancing the samba with this random girl in a jungle that he made in the dream world or something.
Oh.
Friggin' a holodeck. Okay.
You're making a Star Trek reference. You've never even seen it.
Yeah, I know, but I often make references to things I haven't seen. I called what's his name earlier today.
Oh
Whatever.
yeah, that.
In case the readers can't tell, I'm a little bit tired today. I just called you readers, so yeah. All right. Anyways,
So, good things and bad
let's get
things.
right down to the nitty gritty a bit.
Alright,
Do
so-
you want to do your notes since you have less of them?
Yeah, I'll do my good things first.
All right.
I surprisingly liked the chemistry between Emma Frost and Banshee.
Oh, dude, yeah, actually, well, Emma Frost, I'll get into Emma Frost, but I really liked Banshee, and I liked
Yeah.
the banter that he had, where because a lot of people in this movie have, ridiculous acting, where it's either complete overacting or complete, they're reading a line of
Yeah.
the script,
Well-
and so, Banshee is the perfect balance of that, where he's
Mhm.
just, semi-normal, he's just,
I think he just has that look on his face the entire time,
oh yeah, he knows, he's aware of this movie.
he knows what he has to do. I was wondering if this guy was actually from Ireland because his accent is somewhat decent,
Right?
but he's from Southern California. And it's
Of
oh,
course.
yeah. And actually, as it got on, it got more and more cartoonish, and he just had that look on his face,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's just watching the movie this movie, I'm doing this.
I'm
I'll
not
be
getting
paid
paid
for
enough.
this. Yeah, really.
Also,
so
he's
yeah.
wearing leopard print at the end. Didn't you notice that?
Yeah, that's right. He was. It's ridiculous because that guy's a halfway decent actor, and the fact that he was. All right,
He's-
let's get on to
All right,
your other notes.
When the movie isn't focusing on the really fucking stupid dream machine whatever plot, it actually isn't horrible.
Yeah, because there's a subplot about the mutants trying to get along, and
Yeah,
about
and,
them going into town and being beat up by other kids.
and that part isn't bad. It's just it's okay. It's nothing great, but it's interesting and miles ahead of fucking whatever dreams.
Yeah, actually, a funny thing that I noticed about this movie, basically, I wanted to bring this up later, but I might as well do it now. this movie is basically like it's a classic. It's a very very 90s movie. One of my
Oh my
notes is
God.
actually the 90s is strong in this one, but
Yes.
But-
I agree 100% with that statement.
But so the thing is, it's a great 90s movie for being a 90s movie where it's like, you know, just the kids like trying to get along and, you know, fighting the power of cliques and like the little pointless love arc. But like, you know, you can have your shitty little 90s movie, but keep that out of X-Men. Like
I mean,
whenever it was trying to be X-Men, it was like, or I guess no, it wasn't.
Well, I
it
don't
wasn't
know.
that it was trying to be X-Men. The X-Men was fine. The Dream was stupid, but well, yeah, whatever.
The dream is so fucking stupid. Okay, I have like 1.5-ish more notes. I actually really liked crazy cartoony Pee Wee Herman guy.
I will shoot you in the face. What are you talking about?
I
I
thought
thought we were friends.
he was really entertaining, and he was really fucking stupid, and I realized he was like trying to play this like creepy, like really crazy, weird, whatever kind of guy.
Right.
And he was like so stupid and so just like, it was entertaining. But then that moment when he was like, if you don't do this to me, I'll fucking dream rape your sister. He just,
Oh yeah.
and like, I'm not saying it was like it was like great acting or whatever, but it was just like holy shit kind of like. I don't know. I thought like he's not like it wasn't great in this, but.
Yeah, that's true. This movie is, or that specific part of this movie, at least the villain. His name is Russell, and he is cartoon
Russell Crowe.
Pee Wee Herman thing, but he's like, he's almost in certain parts of the movie he's so bad that he like it almost
Yeah.
reverses itself and becomes good again.
Well, it's not even that he's bad. He's just like he's like not trying. He's both trying too hard and not trying at all. Like he's
It's
just.
so ridiculous. I'll get into that. I have some notes that are very, very specific into it, but we'll get into that. Anyway,
Alright.
is that...
I don't know. Fucking.
Can I get into my notes?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I liked about this movie. Oh,
Okay.
actually, okay. It was meta as fuck.
Yeah, you're right.
Because
In-
in the beginning, when they were at the arcade, in the background, they had the X-Men arcade game.
No.
Yeah, they pulled a Double Dragon.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you look in the background, there's the X-Men arcade game is there.
That's
And
amazing.
When they meet, when Jubilee and fucking Elastigirl meet all the X-Men, Vanilla Ice is wearing a Wolverine shirt. So this movie is meta as fuck.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Mhm.
That's good. At least it knows that much
Yeah.
about comedy.
Alright.
So, here are some notes.
Oh god.
You know what? I'm not even gonna do them in I can try to do them in order of like good things then bad things, but
Oh god.
it's hard, so I'll just okay. So the movie starts with the definition of the word mutation.
Of course, because how
Of
the hell
course.
else are they going to start an X-Men movie?
Right. And so but it was like a dictionary definition in text, and then it cuts to a scene of Russell and some other scientist. I think it was Russell and his accomplice, dude, Bobby, trying to
Bobby?
like drill into like a mutant's brain, like it was a guy who had crab claws
Oh,
or something.
I forgot I had it. I had one more good note actually.
Oh yeah.
It actually felt like there was some kind of like looming threat throughout the entire movie. Like they talk about like, dude, if you don't like get along, you're gonna be put in a camp. And like
That's true.
the thing is, the tone of the movie does not at all go with the tone of like those parts. But like if they had explored those particular like ideas, I think this movie could have actually been like good.
That's true. I can see what you're talking about there. So it starts with that scene, and then Emma Frost runs in, and this is before I knew she was Emma Frost. And
And she randomly
like,
has telekinesis in the beginning.
yeah, she stopped her. She stopped their experiments by like shooting. I thought it was wind, so I was like, "Is she Storm?"
Uh-huh.
And so my first three notes are, "Blonde woman's acting," and then "Is she Storm?" and then "Flat acting runs in the part," and then
She
like,
wasn't that bad.
she wasn't that bad, but like I don't know. In certain parts, she just kind of felt like she was, I don't know, she was really flat. And then later, I realized when he called her Emma Frost, she was like, oh, she's Emma Frost. And then I paused and I was like, flat acting does run in the part. Because January Jones, who played her in First Class, was also just kind of dull.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know. She didn't have anything to do.
That's true, yeah. At least this Emma Frost, like, had some stuff to work with, so...
I don't know. She wasn't that bad. Like, compared to fucking, Miss Perfect or whatever, she was fucking Meryl
Oh,
Streep.
yeah. Monet, she was, yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah, I thought she was,
great.
like, a real mutant.
No, she's just genetically perfect.
Did they not make her... Was she not a comic character? They make her up
Not
or
as
something?
far as I know. I mean,
Monet. Alright, I'll look
like
this
the
up.
only comic book characters were Banshee, Emma Frost, and Jubilee. But like, what is his name? Vanilla Ice. He has
Yeah, Kurt.
yeah. He's kind of like Cyclops in a weird way.
Yeah, he was like Cyclops, but he had the power to control his
Ice.
laser.
Well, apparently not.
Well, he had the power to control his laser, but not his seeing
Well-
through clothes power. Because that's a mutation that makes a lot of sense, evolutionary-wise.
Yeah, but also Kurt is the name of Nightcrawler.
Oh,
So, like,
yeah.
he's a weird combination, and like, what's his name? Black guy, Bumper Robinson. That's the actor's name. Is
okay.
kind of like Luke Cage, who has nothing to do with the X-Men, but is Marvel. So I don't know.
What is his power again?
In the movie or the comic ish.
In the movie, what was his power?
To become as hard as any material he touches. So
oh, that's right. So
so
he
like-
was like kind of a combination between that guy, Luke Cage, and
Rogue.
Rogue, yeah, and Colossus.
Vaguely, very vaguely.
Very vaguely. He's like, all these guys are like strange little vague combinations of stuff, which I realized later, and this is a note I said, I was like, this was based on a Generation X comic?
Yeah, dude.
So there was a Generation X, like, series of
Yeah,
comics.
it was a
Did
spin-off
you ever
of
read
X-Men.
those?
Kind of ish. Like, I've read a bit about them, and I've seen them in a few animated thingies, but I haven't like just gone and been like, okay, I'm gonna get Generation X because I'm pretty sure. No, they didn't. I think they were in late '80s. Hold on.
That makes a lot of sense. Dan's superpower is his computer.
Leo's superpower is being an asshole.
Let's see. While Dan Googles that, I'll go
Oh,
through
yeah.
some more notes.
No, I found it. Fucking
okay.
found it. Let's see. They were first published in 1994.
Oh.
So brief kind of note about comic books in general. The 90s were a very dark time. Like,
Really?
if you don't know this, just they were very dark and very little good came out of them, and it kind of resulted in an entire crash of the market in comic
Mm.
books. So there was a lot of crap. Is
that where the comics came from that I somehow stumbled upon on the internet of the X-Men being turned into vampires at one point?
that sounds 90s.
There's a crossover with the X-Men and Blade where they get turned into vampires. I found that on the
That-
internet somewhere.
That sounds 90s.
Yeah, Jubilee like became a vampire, and then she led all the other vampires or the other X-Men into captivity, where they were turned into vampires too. Yeah,
All right.
it's dumb as shit. I don't even know anything about the actual comics, but that just doesn't.
Yeah, that sounds
Alright.
very 90s to me.
Let's see. So positive things. I'm gonna try to go through the positive things. Here's one of them. Halfway through the movie, I was like, I like the soundtrack, and then later I was like, never mind, I don't like the soundtrack.
Was it at the moment with the shitty dream sequence?
Yes, there was the shitty dream sequence, and then the music starts playing, and I'm like, never mind, I don't like this music. Because near the beginning of the movie, there were, like, some cool, like, kind of almost X-Men-y sounding musics, and then it just started becoming weird chip tunes, and... here's another thing. Let's see. So I said I really like Banshee.
Yeah, he's
I
awesome.
said, let's see. Oh, There's this great moment where it's the three guys in the school talking, so Elastigirl, Vanilla Ice, and
Black
Kurt
guy.
Vonnegut. Kurt Cage. No, Luke Cage.
That's
dude.
it's like he has nothing to do with it. It's just what was his
I don't know
name?
what his name is in the movie though. I can't remember.
Hold
the-
on. I'm finding. Let's see.
And the only reason why, okay, if any of the listeners suddenly think I'm racist, is because I took notes on a lot of characters. I noted Angelo's name, which is Elastigirl. I noted Jubilee's name, which is who the fuck named their daughter Jubilation? What?
I would. Okay.
Her name is Jubilation Lee.
I think it's. I don't know. I think it's like. I think. It's
I mean,
Asian?
that's from the original comic books, but what? Her name is Jubilation?
Are we really gonna get into this?
I took the time to look this up, and yes,
His
we're
name
going
was
to get
Mondo.
into Mondo.
That was
That's
the
his
black
name.
kid's name. We sound
That's
so
right.
racist. Like,
Yeah, we really do.
That the
And that's-
black one.
We shouldn't sound racist because in our time and life, like that's not all we're doing is stating a person's race. We're not saying anything about that. Like, ah, God, we cannot get into racism on a comic book based podcast.
Welcome back to the racist cast.
But the point is, there was a great moment where Vanilla Ice, Elastigirl, and Mondo were in a room together, and they were talking about.
Sounds like
Um,
that sounds like
Mondo's
the beginning of either a terrible joke or a porno. Elastigirl, Vanilla Ice, and Mondo were in
Oh
a
my
room
God.
together.
So they're talking about Mondo's power, and he was like, I can become as solid as anything I touch. And then Elastigirl is like, you must not like Jello. And then there was like a long, awkward pause, and like they all kind of looked at each other, and Kurt kind of snickered a little bit, and Mondo's like, hey, you know I don't like Jello. And Kurt's like, no, I know you don't. And he's like, I can beat you up. No, like, oh, no, I know, respect.
Okay.
It was like really awkward but hilariously funny just because, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that was intentional, but it was good.
I just found out that apparently Mondo is a real character.
Whoa! And the shit starts pouring down.
Oh, wait.
Didn't we know at one point Dan would be revealed as a nerd who knows nothing? You're a fake imposter nerd, sir. You didn't know Mondo, okay? Everyone knows Mondo. He's as knowable as the Sentinels and Wolverine and the Green Goblin from Superman.
Of course.
Ahem.
But do you know who fucking do you know who the Vision is?
I assume he has vision powers.
Yeah, well, no. Not really.
So, Jubilee actress actually isn't that bad. She's kind of compelling. She knows how to deliver a line.
Yeah,
And
but she's white and the original character is Asian.
that's true. And I like Sean Cassidy, even if his voice does make me imagine him in a kilt.
I imagine him as a leprechaun.
He's Irish, but I don't know, for some reason I don't know. I also, at one point I said, the first time I saw Sean Cassidy, I was like, Sean Cassidy is Lucky the Leprechaun. Let's see. Okay, here are some notes that are not as positive, because I don't have any more positive notes. Let's see. Here we go. The intro ends with a circular cutout transition to the title, which looks like either Porky the Pig or Windows Movie Maker.
Dude, this is 1996. What do you expect?
No. I know. Then the first ever scene with Russell, I made this note. I said, the scientist guy is a pissing bear.
He's a pissing bear?
Which, out of context, any listeners who
What?
haven't listened to our previous episodes are going to be really confused.
I don't even
just
know
as
what the hell a
Dan is.
pissing bear is.
It's a thing from
Oh!
Origins Wolverine, where there was a
Oh,
pissing bear
I
to get a
was
cheap
like,
laugh.
What the fuck are you talking about, Leo? Have you just like gone off?
Yeah, I've finally cracked. I need to get back on the pills. So, yeah, he's so, like, he just drastically, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't seen the movie, look up some clips of Russell from Generation X, and there's just, he just so drastically goes from emotion to emotion, and he, like, just jumps around, he's like, do you want me to be doing this? And he, like, reels back, and he's like, yes, Bobby boy, I know this thing. When I do things, they never fail. And he's, like,
You sound
so
like Christopher Lloyd.
I got really, really annoyed at him So I called him a pissing bear, and then I said, stop calling him Bobby Boy, because he converges with a guy named Robert, who's, like, his accomplice, but he calls him Bobby Boy, like, 99% of the time. I think there's one time where he refers to him as Robert, but that's one of the most annoying things there is. Then, dreams are another dimension,
Oh my
Bobby.
fucking God,
No,
this shit
they're
is so
not. That's
stupid.
really stupid.
I don't know. I was
Then-
like just kind of zoning out during those scenes. Like,
Then when he told Bobby there was another dimension, he said, "Can you grasp that?" No, let me finish. I haven't gotten to the good part. He says, "Can you grasp that, Bobby boy?" You know, like Freddy Krueger. Which is the most random and irrelevant Freddy Krueger reference I have ever heard.
I don't know.
Because that has nothing to do with Freddy Krueger.
Leo, I have a very important question.
What?
Can you grasp this dimension? If you can't grasp it, it's not real, dude. We just fade away.
That's how science works. Here's another thing. Professor, this is a little crazy sounding. Bobby Boy seems to have the best grasp on reality in the movie so far. Okay, here's a great line. Here's one. She's in the arcade, Jubilee, and she's talking to some guy who's never mentioned again, and she's like playing on the arcade, and he's like, "So, you're just gonna run off?" And she's like, "Yeah, man." And then the literal line is, "Home sucks, man. Freedom rocks." Well, that's the best way to describe Jubilee's motivation I've ever heard.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
Home sucks, man. Freedom rocks.
except then when she's at the institute, she's like, "Oh man, why did my parents give me up?"
Oh my god. It's,
Oh, I didn't do my girl
Yeah.
voice. Shit.
she
Oh
changes
man, why did
Oh,
my
there we
parents
go.
give me up? Ah.
She changes motivations at the drop of a hat. Right. Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ, Russell's only been in 2 scenes and I already hate his guts.
Oh, you.
God damn it, this movie has a mutant measurement system too. They said, like, Russell was like, "I've been able to locate a level 3 mutant,"
Dude,
and I
it
was
was
like,
in
that
the
was really
comics.
dumb when they did it in X-Men 3 The Last Stand.
It was in the comics, dude.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like, I think Jean is a class 5.
I know Gene is a class 5! I was made aware of that!
I wasn't even meaning to troll you then, but it kind of happened.
God, I hate that movie.
Wow.
Let's see.
Why do you? I still don't understand why you hate it that much.
I don't know, I just resent it. Also, Russell's evil plan is to bring together dreams and reality, which is stupid enough on its own, aside from the fact that he never ends up doing it. Like, his evil plan at one point is like, I can create anything because dreams are, bendable. I can use anything in that dimension. So if I bring that dimension and our dimension together, I can be master of everything. And not only does he not do anything that comes even close to attempting to complete that plan, that's also just it's a dumb plan. He wasn't inside Jubilee's dream when he showed his face on the video game monitor. He was just inside the game. Russell's evil plan is going to kill me. Is Russell supposed to be funny? Like, it just keeps on going. Let's see. But, like, the thing with Russell is that he's clearly supposed to be, like, funny for small children, but it's so dumb
And
that...
then he also threatens to dream rape people.
That's right. So, that's... It just... I don't know. He's so... It's so stupid that they think he's funny that he becomes funny again. Let's see. Oh, the conversation, which goes a little like this. "So, what's your thing?" "What's my thing?" They want to know what kind of mutant powers you have. I'm sorry, Jubilee. Was that not painfully obvious?
Well,
That's okay.
when I first saw it, I thought they were talking about their, like, their junk.
That's okay. I'm Monet. I'll make it even more painfully obvious. What's subtlety? Anyway.
I like how you actually remember the characters' names, and I'm just like, okay, that's Vanilla Ice. That's fucking...
Well, there's no good way to describe Monet except for...
Little Miss
Girl who-
Personality.
Yeah, let's see. The forced and contrived teen rivalry between Angelo and the guys is forced and contrived. It's all right. That was the stage where I was still trying to enjoy this movie as an X-Men movie,
Were
which
you?
I then gave up on.
Were you? I was never at any point just like, oh, I'm going into an X-Men movie. Like throughout
Well-
the entire thing, I was just like, oh boy, yep.
Well, I wasn't as familiar with the concept of this movie as you were, I think.
Dude, it
But
was a
let's see.
cheesy, unaired '90s TV pilot. What the fuck did you expect to happen?
Fair enough. Let's see. Well, I'm just saying there is like this whole thing between Mondo and Kurt that like they like, you know, tease Angelo and like, you know, or they have like a teen rivalry thing that then gets completely thrown out the window for the stupid human antagonists, the Clique, that also appear for 5 minutes and then are never mentioned again, but whatever. Where the hell is Xavier? That is my biggest question about this movie.
I don't know. He's off with the X-Men.
The movie, I mean, not the movie, the school is called Xavier's.
Do you think?
The school is called Xavier's School for the Gifted Youngsters,
do you,
and Xavier is nowhere to be found.
you know,
Throughout this entire movie, he's not even mentioned. It's not even like Emma Frost and Banshee are running the school while, like, Xavier is like, you know, it professor left us the school when he, like, was killed by Jean Grey in that stupid thing, or, like, he, you know, went off to fight crime in the future, or whatever.
they were, like,
No,
trying to
he's just-
fucking set up for the later series.
he's just not even mentioned.
You know, not everyone who has their name on a thing necessarily does their thing. Like, I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King Jr. never actually went to his school. I mean, he might have.
To the Martin Luther King School of whatever.
Yeah, and I'm almost like 100% sure that well, actually, he might have. That maybe, I don't know.
Thing is, like Applebee's, and I learned this through a thing that it's a thing that I like to do. I like to call Applebee's and ask them for Mr. Applebee's repeatedly, but until they get fed up and hang up on me. I pretend that I'm a really stupid person that doesn't understand, and they try to explain to me that Mr. Applebee's is not a real person, that Applebee's was founded by like John and Mark something or other in whatever year.
1849.
Yeah, but I just pretend to be completely ignorant and not understand the concept of there not being a Mr. Applebee's. So I've heard the story over and over, so I know there's not a Mr. Applebee's. So maybe Xavier's just like a made-up name that they came up with in this version of the story to make the school sound cool, because Emma Frost and Banshee's School for Gifted Youngsters doesn't exactly sound inconspicuous.
Well, Emma Frost had her own school.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Why is it that
What?
anytime I explain something about the comics that was in the movie, it's like, you know, hey, blind happened.
Excuse me.
I don't know,
Fucking
things that
excuse
happen...
me. Fucking excuse me. Okay, sorry. But
Why
yeah,
is that the character of my voice?
I don't know.
Brilliant.
I know, but yeah, she had her own like school, and everyone got murdered there.
What?
Yeah.
What?
At
Now
least
I
you-
actually have a reason to ask.
Yeah. She was like, or, screw you, Xavier! I'm gonna start my own school with blackjack and hookers. And she started it, and then all of her students got murdered by Sentinels, I believe. Or them, either Sentinels or the Hellfire Club, I think. I'll totally not
Yeah.
look this up.
All this dream bullshit is bullshit.
Yeah, basically.
Why do they hate the school so much? They go through this arc in the movie where all the mutants, for some reason, just hate being at school. Okay, let's just review this one more time. You were hated and exiled in your own world. Everyone was afraid of you. And now you're in a school where you have a bunch of like-minded people who are just like you, are not afraid of you, don't think that you're, like, scary and Satan. And yet they're all like, why do we have to be in school? Especially Jubilee, but, like, the others are also kind of like that.
Mhm.
It's really stupid. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Emma Frost is female David Bowie, and then they suddenly started cursing.
Oh,
About,
yeah.
like, 50 minutes into the movie, when none of the teenagers had cursed, they suddenly started cursing.
Yeah,
I don't have
I
a
remember
problem
it
with
was,
just
like-
be consistent.
I remember it was like when I think Jubilee and Elastigirl were talking. It's like, dude, this is fucking bullshit. It's like, yeah, this is fucking bullshit. And it's like, Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Actually, this shares a lot of similarities with X-Men 3: The Last Stand. Random cursing to get the PG-13 rating, stupid contrivances, and too much mentioning of the mutant measurement
They
system.
mentioned it like once.
Yeah, well, so did X-Men 3: The Last Stand, and once was enough. Anyway, there's 17 minutes left of this movie, and I'm having trouble finding anything remotely resembling a plot. The plot of the movie started like 12 minutes before the end credits.
Mm.
Literally, the rest of it was set up. It was just them, like,
Well, dude, it was a pilot.
fucking
They were setting
about
up for the
while
TV show.
Russell was making his machine, and only like 12 minutes before the end credits did Elastigirl suddenly meet Russell, and Russell was like, "Listen, little boy, I'm going to dream rape your sister unless you get me back to my body because I'm stuck in the dream dimension because this movie needs a fucking plot." Let's see. Oh, here's something. In order to convince the companies that he works for to accept his dream machine idea, Russell creates a little demonstration to help them along. He goes.
Oh
in
my
all of
god,
the
I hated
dreams
this part!
the night before the presentation, and he's like, during the meeting, he's like, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present that I have this wonderful idea," and they're all like, "Russell, you're full of crap." And then he's like, but you see, I went inside your dreams last night and I made it so that your bodies would do something special in about 2 seconds. And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "In about 10 seconds, you're all going to have an involuntary gastral
Whatever.
thing." And they're all, and one of the guys is like, "Russell, is this supposed to be funny?" He's like, "A little bit, and effective." And then, like, a few seconds pass in awkward silence. And then this is just my note. This is my note. Okay, ready? Ha 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 ha! They all farted and burped at the same time. Ha 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 ha!
I was like, Leo, you okay?
Oh my god, I hate this movie.
Yeah, this is lowest common denominator here. Like, it was just
So dumb.
I still think Russell's fucking hilarious though.
Here's another thing. Why wouldn't Russell just subliminally convince them to accept his project? His whole thing is that
yeah.
he can go into people's brains and convince them to do stuff. If you had access to their brains anyway, don't make them burp and fart. Make them accept your initiative.
Yeah,
God.
that's-
If friggin' Trask had the power to go into people's dreams, you damn well know he wouldn't be making council members and President Nixon burp and fart all over the place.
Okay, I would totally do that though.
That's actually true. I'd love to see President Nixon and his entire cabinet burp and fart at the same time. Shut up, world. Let's see. Oh, here's something. I at some point I just say Russell is still not funny, but I kind of agree with your point that he's almost so bad that he's funny again. Like
It came full circle.
yeah, it did. It
You know-
really did.
And the funny thing about this actor is that he went on to play Moloch in Watchmen, which Leo has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But yeah,
I actually don't. That's
yeah,
Huh.
and he was like, I mean, he like didn't do much in the film, but for what he did, he was like really good.
wait, Russell?
Yeah, the actor. He went on to go into Watchmen, which we actually probably will do really later on because you have to read the book for that. But
Yeah, at some point.
yeah, he was like actually pretty good in it, and like,
Oh, yeah. Wait,
He-
in Watchmen, not in this.
well, I mean, I thought he was funny, but
Can you grasp that? You know, like Freddy Krueger. I don't know. I don't even.
all right.
And actually, the only note that I have left, or wait, no, I have 2 notes. One of them is, at one point, I think they imply that Frankenstein was a mutant.
Do they? No.
Where-
Oh no, that was just Sean being sassy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. That makes a lot more sense. Because they're in, like, a dingy old room, and they're, like, the two, Elastigirl and Jubilee were, like, looking around. And Sean's like, don't worry, laddies. This place has been
That is a
refurnished since-"
horrible Irish accent.
Okay, let me do it better. Don't worry, lassies. This place has been refurnished since Frankenstein lived here,
That's-
which actually makes a lot more sense considering it's just him being sassy. Which
So
I guess I'm just used to them implying weird stuff like that.
President
You
Kennedy
know,
was a
George
mutant.
Washington and JFK were mutants and stuff. So it's like, I don't know.
But
And the only note that I have left is, dear God, that was horrendous, which is what I said at the end.
all right, so I think this is final thoughts time. I'll go first since I think Leo has a bit more to say than I do. This movie is delightfully cheesy 90s schlock that makes very little sense when you think about it. But if you just kind of want to turn your brain off and like look at pretty colors or whatever, and watch Sean Cassidy have the look of just like
Oh my God,
not
his
giving a
look.
shit, then
Just
you know
gives
go
no
for
shits.
it. But as a movie, it's not very good, and I would give it a 5 out of 10.
All right, so this is what I'm gonna say.
Mhm.
This movie, I will agree. It's cheesy to the point where it's brain junk food. It's junk food for your brain. You can just turn your brain off and watch pretty colors. My real problem with it is that over the course of the last month, I've gotten to really like the X-Men franchise. As stupid as some of the stuff is, there's some really great things about the X-Men.
Aw.
There's some really good stuff there.
I feel
It's
like I
really
achieved
great
something. Like
material.
I got you into something. That's nice.
Yeah, so basically what my thoughts are is that this movie, I would not mind this movie. This movie could be a Hocus Pocus or a Breakfast Club if it stuck to its, like, dream, if you want to do the dream thing, it's fine, sure, like, have a dream dimension and a guy who, can build a dream machine. And you can have some teenagers that go and fight him along with their 2 sassy teachers. And you can have some action scenes and some love arcs and some carnival scenes and some clique drama. But don't bring X-Men into this. Because if you just had a little movie that was like some teenagers fighting an evil mad scientist who wanted to take over the world with dreams, sure, that doesn't actually sound that bad. It's just cluttered. There's just too much of them. It almost kind of feels like it started out as a different script, and then, or as 2 scripts, a script for an X-Men movie and a script for like a 90s dream machine thing, and then got merged into one because they didn't have the budget to make both, or something along those lines.
That does sound. That's a very. I like that. That's very good.
So I have the same judgment as Dan. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 10. And oh
I
my
thought you were
God,
gonna go lower.
I almost would, but first of all, I'm forgiving. Second of all, I like movies in general, and I like to enjoy a movie. And third of all, for what it... let me think about this, how to formulate this. I want to say for what it is, it's not bad, but it is. But what I'm going to say is, it's like, this movie is... It made me... I have no words. I don't know why I gave it a 5 out of 10. Don't make me go back on my words.
Go back on it.
No.
Go
5
back.
out of 10. No.
Go back. Go back.
All right.
Go back to
It's-
where you once belong. Sorry.
That's fine. As much as I like... It's, you know what it is? It's just how much I like enjoying a movie. It really would take a lot to make me give a movie lower than 5 out of 10.
Uh-huh.
Because that really implies horrendicity, and I have yet to watch a movie that truly deserves that.
Oh, just you wait, boy.
Maybe a 4.5 at least. At the very least, it's a 4.5. At most, it's a 5. It's a 5. I don't know.
Well,
This movie was difficult for me, and you know what? Besides that, this month has been difficult for me, but we'll reminisce about X-Men month at the end of the next episode, which is, another fanfic episode for you guys.
yeah, we're not doing 2 movies this week. We're just doing 1 because we decided to. Fuck you. You don't get to control our lives. We have our own thoughts, our own minds. We are the independent republic of Johnson.
Shazamcast!
What? What were you
We're
saying?
in the independent republic of Shazamcast. Dude, we should start our own country.
I think Nostalgia Critic already did that.
God damn it!
Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm not. In fact, they did. It's called Kickassia.
That's right. I watched it, I know.
Okay, we're gonna start. We can start a cult maybe, or
Nah, I started a cult on my other podcast.
Shit. We can start a
Yeah.
better cult.
Yeah, that's true. In any case, actually, I had an idea. I think that the fans should write into us and tell us what they think that they should be called.
Yeah, that's cool.
Write into shazamcast@gmail.com and tell us what you think you are. So, like, you know, come up with a name for yourselves.
I was
'Cause-
thinking like Zammies. Little Zammies.
And this is why we need the fans to come up with something.
Little Zammies.
It's a work in progress.
Alright.
Alright, so subscribe to us on iTunes, do all the things I say at the end. My voice, my soothing vocal cords. Embrace your ears.
No!
Oh, yes. Alright, that's all we have for Generation X this week. Join us next time for another god-awful fanfic episode and the end of X-Men Month. No, that's Doctor Who.
Fuck!
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Shazamcast. If you'd like to take a minute to leave us a review on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. It only takes a minute or two, and it really helps us get the word out there about this show of ours. If you're listening to this episode on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to hear all our latest comic material as soon as it comes out. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/ShazamCast, and on WordPress, shazamcast.wordpress.com. So make sure you take a look at those sometime. Thanks. We love you. Some of you. The cool ones.